Yeah, good to see you too. Are you in a room? Are people asleep in your house still?
No, we had our boys do a sleepover with my mom. Just because these holidays have been completely wrecking us. They've been sick, MERS completely down and out for the count right now.
Oh,
And
dang. Oh, dang.
oh man, it just has like completely taken over. So, I told my mom, was like, hey, look, I need some good sleep. Miranda needs good sleep, and I have something to do in the morning. So, and they love doing sleepover at grandma's house. So.
Does she take all three?
Yeah, and they're great. I mean, you have you three
Yeah.
boys, and
Yeah.
they really, the youngest just kind of follows the flow at this point. The old one is the one that gets the most discipline, leads the pack. So they do great.
And they're great with grandma, right? Like that, like you're like they know socially, like, hey, don't push grandma's buttons the way that they push mom and dad's buttons. Like my kids
You
at
know,
home, they'll just straight go in the living room and have a boxing match. They don't do that at my mom's house.
I would say that no, they don't do that. It's been interesting seeing the evolution of my mom being a grandma, right? Like at first, you can kind of see a little bit as much as she tried to respect the what Mur and I wanted to establish in the household. Naturally, the Latin culture, that motherly instinct would come out. And as we've grown, because she's been watching our kiddos for so long at this point, 6 7 years. It's been a lot of communication, just kind of being really aligned with us, which was a very big like it was a lot of boundary setting
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because growing up in Mexican culture, the mom is like you know it's very stereotypical, right? And it's hard to kind of speak up, but when we got to a place of conflict, because she was the main nanny at the time, um, there's a lot of conflict between Miranda and I because she's like, hey, you need to, this is something that I would like for you to communicate with your mom. And sometimes she would feel like an outsider,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then, so I had to grow up a lot in my ability to just speak up to her and just kind of bridge that gap. But now they do phenomenal. The kids do phenomenal with her. She respects like kind of what we ask her to do, like the shows we want her, they're allowed to watch, or if they're not allowed to watch shows, the food that they eat. They don't get a free pass just because they go to grandma's.
Yeah. And your kids are with your mom a lot too. It's not like they're
Um,
visiting grandma once every 6 months, and so it's okay if they have like a cough drop or a now and later. It's like your kids see your mom like every day, right?
yeah, they see her not every day as much anymore. So now we ended up, because of that situation and how the conflict would kind of was becoming to a point where it needed to be addressed. We actually have a different nanny. My mom watches the kiddos a couple times a week, but we kind of distance ourselves with that relationship a little bit so we could have more of a, Miranda could have more of a mother-in-law, and for me, like, all right, your mom and the kids can see grandma and stuff. So we do have a separate grandma or a separate nanny to
Yep.
watch the kids
Yep.
Monday through 4 days a week.
Hey, dude, I know one other couple comes in mind completely. The grandparents were the nannies, and then after a while, you're like, no, the grandparents need to be the grandparents. And so
The grandparents need.
they hired another
Mhm.
nanny, and they did what you did. It's not like that they're out, but it's like, hey, you don't want to blend those relationships. Kids need a grandma, and that's different than a nanny a lot of the times. And it's interesting, yeah. And then it helps the relationship, like you said, with you and your mom and Miranda and your mom.
It just becomes so much healthier at that point, which has been, it's been very uncomfortable. Like, the last couple of years definitely has like, there's been an evolution and a growth between even our relationship. Um, and, but yeah, it needed to happen.
How old are your kids?
hmm So you have Knox, who's 7. You have Banner, who's over 4.5 at this point, and then Crew, our youngest, who will be 3 in March.
Damn, dude,
hmm
it's on.
It's on, man. Like there's really there's no rest at this in this season.
Yeah.
But it's also getting to that stage too, especially with Knox and Banner. Like it's getting fun. They're starting to get into the same things that I enjoy, like or even like bringing that nostalgia for me. Like they're into Transformers. They're into the good comic books, like the good Spider-Man times, and that's been super fun.
Hey, so you have these, and how old are you, Julian?
35.
Hey, and do you respond to Julian and Julian?
It depends on the relationship I have with the person. Like if I go to Starbucks, it's Julian. If it's somebody that I kind of know for a while, it's like, hey, you know, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's Julian. You know, they kind of pick up like, wait, people are calling you Julian. It's like, yeah. And if you know, if you want to be my friend, then yeah.
I got into it with someone the other day. I called you Julian. They're like, it's Julian. I'm like, listen,
Yeah.
look at the dude.
I can totally see how, you
Not
know,
a kid.
growing up, my parents would always tell me like, no, Julian, and it was more of like a pride, like you gotta blend the Mexican with the English, because in reality, as I grew up, I'm like, yeah, it's Julian, but I've gotten so accustomed at this point, you know, for Julian, so it is what it is.
Dude, is 35 young? When you think of your age, do you think 35 is young? I mean, you've done so much already. You have 3 kids. At 35,
30,
I had just moved out of my motorhome. I was like, okay, I'm moving into an apartment.
yeah, 35 is definitely young, you know, it's young, it is, and um, I'm in a season of life too right now where, you know, reality definitely caught up with addressing a lot of the things that I needed to let go of or grow up in. So that way I can evolve into the next version of myself. Essentially so I don't have a midlife crisis at 40 and then be confused as to like, wait, where did this come from? Um, you know, but definitely I believe that God definitely has given me a huge responsibility in this life with the blessings that he's given me. Because it's a lot, man. Like I kind of minimize a lot of what I've done. But when people start to ask me like, well, what have you done? And I start to, you know, have that conversation. That's wild. Hmm.
What year did you and Miranda start street parking?
So we started in 2017. We started in 2017. The idea, you know, formed a little bit when, you know, I was working out in the front of my house at that point when I was living in San Fernando Valley. And you know she would come over and we'd start doing workouts in my front yard, and those were fun days. I was still training for the games at that time, and then she was like, hey, maybe we should start like, you know, subscription model, and then that's how it took off, you know, that origin story there.
And at that time, were you guys dating when you guys were working out together, or did the working out together kind of facilitate the dating? Did that lead to that?
I would say that when we first met, it instantly, like there was like a natural connection that happened between us. Like I think we both got to see like the real version of ourselves. Like she saw in me what other people would judge me for. She saw in me something different than other people would typically typecast me for or judge me for. When we went on our first like dinner date, right? It wasn't really a date. Um, we had great conversation, and you know, she was somebody that I had sat down with that was completely out of the norm that I was, you know, that I usually sat with when it came to women and that I was interested in. And we hit it off right away.
Can
Hmm.
you tell me what that is? So there was something you wanted to be recognized for, and you're saying she saw that in you and you liked that.
Yeah, I think people, and to no fault of their own too, I think I really played into that persona of like the, you know, the Latin actor who, you know, had the looks and you know, who would call women at the time like my señorita, and, you know, he's the salsa dancer and all those things that I naturally really enjoyed. I liked doing random things. Like I liked going and learning salsa dancing. I liked, you know, I like baking. I liked, you know, cooking and but I think I really played into it in a way more for performance than as opposed to like, hey, I'm actually really nerdy at heart. And, you know, I think you guys are really typecasting me in this like Rico Suave kind of image. And she saw the real version of me, more of a vulnerability and a realness. Yeah.
And so you were in Hollywood. For people who don't know, you were living in Los Angeles pursuing an acting career.
Yeah, I
And
moved to Hollywood. Hmm.
that's why I say it's no fault of their own. You were part of you was chasing that. You're like, okay, like I could really fit into this character role. Handsome,
Well, yeah,
strong, talented, sexy, you know, Hispanic figure in front of the camera.
yeah, when I mean, I had no purpose. Like, I had no idea what I wanted to do moving, like, as I was growing up. You know, especially when I was going to be done with high school. So acting gave me an identity at the time. I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to go to college. And my parents, you know, got me doing these like, you probably heard it like Barbizon. It's like those kiosks, those people that like,
Yeah,
oh, your kid can become an actor or a model. And then
yeah.
so my parents, naturally being Mexican, they're like, ah, my son's going to be a star one day. But in reality, like the odds of that actually happening, it's not. They're trying to sell you a dream. But somehow, like, as I pursued that, I've had some success with it actually. Um, it gave me an identity. I left to LA. Took the audition seriously because I was like, well, I don't know what else I want to do in life. So this gave me purpose during that season. And, it went good. I mean, at, 19, 20 years old, I booked my first feature film, the remake of Red Dawn. That was fun. I got to work with, a good cast during that time. And, um, uh, but it also exposed me to a lot of the realities behind the scene of what goes on behind the scenes of that industry and that world, which kind of felt icky to me. I'm like, whoa, like, just the behind the scenes, like Coke and the alcohol and I wasn't, that's one thing that luckily I was able to always stay away from is drugs. Like that was never something that was able to take hold of me or influence me. So I'm very grateful for that. And then after that, shortly after, I was able to go to, I booked another, role. I got to go to Spain. I got to work with people like Antonio Banderas, Michael Douglas, like Gina Carano at the time when she was like big in the UFC, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Channing Tatum. It was for me, it was like surreal. It's like, whoa, this is crazy. But even before that, I remember like my first like shock factor moment was when we did a table read for Red Dawn and Tom Cruise comes rolling in to the table read, and I was like, whoa, here I am, someone from Tillamook, Oregon. And even before that, I grew up in Chowchilla, which is in, Central California. Um, and it blew me away. I was like, this is nuts. Like I felt proud of myself in that moment for where I was at. And it was like, okay, like you're on a momentum here.
Yeah,
But then
those are good signs when you're at the table with those people. Those are the people at the highest level in the field that you're pursuing.
absolutely, and it was really cool too. Like, I got to look at the script of Thor before it came out because Hemsworth was in Red Dawn, and I hung out with him and the other co-star in there, Josh Peck, and every day we hung out every day. We shot that in Michigan, and that was super cool. I was working out with him all the time with his trainer, getting him ready for Thor. Um, but then you have a moment of reality kicks in. That it's all fun and everything when you're in that zone, but as soon as everybody goes back to home to LA, relationships kind of fall out. You're like, oh, I'm back to reality. And luckily during that time, and acting goes in ebbs and flows. It goes up, it goes down. But then at 22, I think my brother took me to the CrossFit Games in 2011, I want to say.
Older or younger brother?
My older brother, he's older
Older.
than me by 2.5 years. Yeah. He took me. He got really into CrossFit. He was like super. He was a fanboy. He was super into it during the Valley Girls era, which is like
Yep.
Rebecca Voigt, Katie Hogan, and Valenzuela Clever. And he took me to the CrossFit Games, and I instantly was like, "Whoa, I want to do that! Like this is super cool." During the times of Neil Maddox and Kalipa Froning, and I was super impressed. And then I started going to Valley CrossFit, and it completely shifted my attention. And I was like, "Whoa, I love this! Like, this is something that I really enjoy." And I was personal training at the time too. Like, I was doing so much just to try to make ends meet. So I was a personal trainer. I was training people in my backyard. I was doing these extreme boot camp classes. It was like a franchise that used to be super big. This was during the time of Barry's boot camp era. I was 18 years old. I picked up a job there. I was running 3 classes a week, and I was getting paid $25 a class. So back then, I was like, "That's so much,"
Yeah.
And then I had one-on-one clients, and then also trying to because it gave me flexibility for my schedule, and also it was super random when I came back from Red Dawn and Haywire. I had an influx of money in my bank account at that time, which this was during the 2009, 2010 era, which is crazy because I made the dumbest mistakes financially. Instead of taking the opportunity, I had never had a mentor during that time, but instead of taking the opportunity to, educate myself financially or capitalize on the crash or the housing crash,
Mhm.
no, I was spending on dumb stuff like dates with women. Like my biggest distraction in my life has been women growing up.
Mhm.
It took away all my efforts and energy, and also because I was very lonely. I was very lonely at the same time.
Like
Um,
pursuing women, wanting to date women. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I mean, I feel like from 6 years old to 35, that's all I did.
Yeah, it was a waste of time. And,
Why do you
I
think why do
think
you think it was a waste of time? Because I think it's a waste of time in hindsight too. Even though, like, I wouldn't trade it for anything, I think it was a waste of time too.
I think it's a waste of time because we're trying naturally to fill a hole. I got baptized a year ago. I started walking back, in spirituality and following Jesus. And I grew up Jehovah's Witness, which is crazy. I grew up Jehovah's Witness
From
up
from
until
from as
12 years,
early as you can remember.
up until I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And then I moved to Tillamook, Oregon, and from Tillamook, Oregon, I went back to LA. And so I had a spiritual roots in me. And what now looking back at my life, what I was trying to fulfill was an empty hole of like abandonment. Because during that time too, during 17, 18, when I moved to LA, my parents were going through a divorce.
Mm.
And during that time, when you're a young man trying to move to a big, like going from a town of 4,000 people to LA, like that's a huge like shock to a young man. Could you imagine sending your 17-year-old to like, all right, you go. You're gonna go to LA, you're gonna pursue acting, but then your parents became absent because they were dealing with their divorce, and it ruined my relationship with my mother at the time. Um, I didn't want to talk to my dad because all my dad would want to talk to me about was like, you know, would talk negatively about my mom. And at the end of the day, I was like, hey, this is still my mom.
Right.
So I was trying to process that grief of my family breaking. Um, and so I think I try to fulfill it with trying to feel like I belong somewhere. And when, because, here I am, 19, 20 years old, I had a history, like my mom used to bake cakes growing up, and it was in the baking industry and stuff. So I went through a whole season where I would also start baking cupcakes, and I would go sell them to, you know, um, I would go to hair salons and start selling them at hair salons in
Just
LA.
just cold call, just walk in with a box of,
I just walked in. I just
yeah,
walked in. The first box of cupcakes I ever sold was at the leasing office in my apartment complex at the time. And I was like, oh, this was easy money. I just literally sold like 3 dozen cupcakes for like $30. And that took me no time at all. I was personal training. I was making cupcakes,
yeah.
just doing all the things, side hustles, and then I
That
was
was
like,
the
hey,
entrepreneur in you early. You weren't scared.
it was super early. And honestly, taking advantage too of the fact that like, yeah, I could notice that, these women at the time just wanted to flirt with me, and I was like, oh, this is an easy sell for me. I'm just going to go sell cupcakes and this is no big deal. I'm going to pay, I'm going to lean into this. Um, and then, yeah, I would go hair salons all over the San Fernando Valley and sell cupcakes every weekend. I would pocket like, $800-900.
Damn.
And that was a lot, and
Yeah, yeah.
it allowed me to focus throughout the week on auditions. It allowed me to still focus on my personal training. Um, and then I would I made salsas. My dad taught me the salsa recipe. And then I would go to like barber shops and I would walk in, sell salsas during like NFL game days. And that was always awesome too, but then again, during that whole time, going back to the distraction was women, because I just felt lonely. I felt so alone, and I had no friendships as far as like male figures go. Um, if I had friends, it would always be like lesbian women, because regular women, it just wouldn't work. Anytime there was a level of vulnerability, they would either end up developing feelings or vice versa. And then so I would end up having, lesbian friends all the time growing up, because I felt like I connect with a woman, but also never feel like I was um had to pursue anything. But I
Did
was
you
lonely,
know
man.
did you know you were lonely then, or in hindsight, when you look back, you're like, "Oh, that was loneliness."
I always felt lonely during that time.
Oh,
Like I
okay.
felt like I was
You
wasting
knew.
time.
Okay.
I did, because I wanted a relationship. Like I wanted the connection of someone, but I didn't also at the same time, I didn't know how to be vulnerable.
Mm.
I would only hide behind the facade of look at me, like I'm young, I just got done booking movies.
Yeah.
I'm confident. Like, but then when I would, anytime a relationship would go 4, 5, 6 months, and then the real vulnerability of what I was really hurting with, and hey, I feel alone. I feel I'm hurting from I would never want to talk to. Anytime women would ask me about my parents, I was like, I don't want to talk about. I didn't want to talk about that. And my real low self-esteem, because at the end of the day, like, yeah, cool, acting, I got an influx of money, or CrossFit at the time. This is awesome. But, we'll get into this conversation later. But you're like, what's the future look like? What am I doing? I kept, filling that time of reflection with distractions. So yeah, I always felt like there was a loneliness for sure.
Jehovah Witnesses are kind of outsiders anyway, right? Like, so I just remember the kids I was friends with in elementary school who were Jehovah Witnesses. There was just they were so different. They didn't do Christmas. They didn't do birthdays.
Right.
Then I think we had a nanny maybe who was Jehovah Witness, and like I couldn't touch her no matter what. Like I couldn't shake her hand or put my hand on her shoulder or anything. And then I remember in high school, there was this girl that I was attracted to who had a Jehovah Witness, and she ended up running away from her family because her mom needed a blood transfusion and they wouldn't let her get it. And her mom ended up dying. And I remember that had
Right.
of her religion that caused some and so I think she moved in with me for like 6 months. But was that a trip being a Jehovah Witness as a kid? Like
Not really, because I think at that time I was only 12.
Mhm.
So I think that was a moment in a young man's life, where the next stage, going into my teens, would have been a huge, like, questioning everything, because for me, I was still like reading the kids' books, the kids' version of the Bible. I would go out on the weekends with my parents and be part of the door-to-door knocking. And I think a lot of that did help me in my ability to speak to strangers, right? So, and, I had developed friendships in the church. So if anything, it was more of like, yeah, I have friends in the church. It is what it is. People know I'm Jehovah's Witness, but they know my family's Jehovah's Witness. But now looking back, yeah, there was no holidays. There was no, um, uh, there was just a lot of things that I would definitely question at this point, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And then you said you were baptized recently, like within the last year, you said?
Yeah, December 17th last year. I have one of our employees' husbands is a pastor at this church here at Crossroads, and he's always been part of the community. And I would say the last year and a half, our family's it's been tested. Our family has been tested. I've done things to hurt my family. And I was carrying a lot of shame, and I was definitely projecting that onto Miranda. And um, it was unfortunate, and I knew something had to change. I was like, okay, well, the only way I've been used to operating is not working. It's gotten me into this much trouble here, and um, what's new? And it had to be so drastic as like there was a very specific moment, Miranda and I had gone out and spent the evening together to kind of talk about like, well, what's going to change, right? And I said, God, because I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. Like, all I've done is brought destruction and pain and hurt. And I remember how
Is that a rock bottom?
um it was I don't know if it was a rock, definitely close to one for sure. Definitely close to one, because I believe that, and as we've started to walk with Christ and really diving deep into like sermons and really trying to understand things, and God can use even success as a way to bring him back, because you start, bring you back to him, because here you are, you're given all the things in this world that you think people are strive for. Well, I want fame, I want success, I want this, and that will fill me up, right? Like, that's gotta fill me up. God was like, all right, well, here you go. I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to give you family. I'm going to give you success. You've been acting, you've been doing all this and this and this and that, and look where you're at still. You're still missing something. And it was definitely him, something outside of myself. Essentially, I was idolizing myself, and it's trying to operate as my own, God, as many of us, I think, do. During when I was 30, when I was getting closer to 30, street parking was growing. We had been 3 years into street parking, and I started reading all these like self-help books, like The Four Agreements, The Alchemist, like all those things. But then you start to realize, like, oh, looking back, oh, this is just an idol of self. Like, I am my own God. I am my own universe. Like, you know how fragile that is?
Explain that to me. Explain that to me. So fragile because
when you attach meaning to life or to how you operate life only to yourself and not actually give it, credit to where credit's due. And God, you are in control of this life. You try to take control of your own life. Because, okay,
Right.
why am I on God? That's so delicate. Because in reality, we're not in control of our own lives. And you get huge reality checks when, like, fast forward to a year and a half ago. They're like, well, you were operating the only way you knew how, and you thought you were doing good. In reality, you weren't. You become selfish. You start to become super selfish. I'm like, well, I'm going to get what I want. And if I'm not feeling good, then it's somebody else's fault.
Hey, so 2017, you meet the love of your life. You start a business. It has meteoric success. You're doing everything you love. You have 3 beautiful kids. And flash forward to 2024, and not only that, you're changing tons of people's lives. You're actually servicing people in the best way that I think human beings can. You're teaching them to fish. You have a program that empowers people and makes their lives better. So everything is perfect, but you're saying nope. You're saying a year ago something happened, and you were like, you dropped to a knee and said, "God save me."
100%.
What a
Yeah, I
trip!
get
What a
really,
trip! I
I
didn't see
get,
this coming.
well, because I've been so good at performing, I've been so good at trying to perform for others and hide behind my insecurities, as opposed to just being transparent. And it's that lack of vulnerability that didn't ever allow me to connect, not only in our marriage, but also in being able to foster meaningful friendships with men, because as men, we're suffering. We're suffering, holding up an image of what we think is expected of us, and it doesn't really allow us to just surrender to our higher power. And I had that moment for sure. And the thing is too, like, I'm also blending that too. Like, I've been working with this therapist for the last year, over a year now, and he's like mid 60s, and he's been phenomenal. He's been phenomenal. I got so lucky that he also walks with Christ, and he's been guiding me. So at the end, no matter what happens, and I'm, because sometimes therapy gets like a bad rap because, once again, it could be, once again, well, listen to your feelings, listen to your feelings. It's like, yeah, your feelings are a good way to indicate what's going on in you. But if you go based off of your own understanding, then you're going to set yourself up for failure, because sometimes, we don't understand things. And then if we operate and we try to take control of our own lives, once again, that's where we start messing up. Who's your guide, or who are you following? Who's your mentor? And the greatest mentor follower is God. I picked up the Bible, and this is where I was really grateful for, instead of approaching religion, because obviously Miranda grew up Mormon, I grew up Jehovah's Witness. I was like, I'm not ready to go to religion. So I picked up the Bible and I started reading the Gospels on my own. I was like, okay, well, I'll start there and see how good. I want to understand it and see what's being said here. And as soon as I started going through the Gospels, I was like, wait. Why are people the same way that people get red pilled, right? Where you start to have an image of, this person is bad politically, but it's only one sided. You start to question, like, hold on, wait. Why is everything so one sided? What's going on here? What am I missing?
Yeah.
And that's when, you start to open your eyes, like, oh, shoot, like, this is true. This is reality. Well, same thing with when I started reading the Gospels. And I was like, why are people trying to hide this? Every book that I read, that self-healing, the self-help book, you can see it, like, draws inspiration from the Bible. And you're like, wait, what? So then I got so sucked in, and I powered through. And then I reached out to our employee's husband and said, hey, I would like to meet with you once a week to kind of talk about what I'm reading. I'm like, my mind is blown right now. And I know you had a guest on here recently that was like speaking to religion, and you were asking some fascinating questions. And I was like, I wanted to ask you, like, have you attempted or even tried to read the Bible, or just the Gospels in general?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
When I was in, at some point in my life, this is before DVDs and CDs. I had the like 200 tapes, cassette tapes. That was the Bible.
Hmm.
And I listened to it twice, and I absolutely
Wow.
loved it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like with a Walkman on. Probably I was
Well, It's
20,
powerful, man.
24, 25 years old. And I've always like, I surround myself with a lot of people who believe in God, who, you know, I surround myself with a lot of Christians.
Well, it's so powerful, right? You even go take back to the games, the incident that happened at the games. You commented on Froning's crew dealt with that tragedy the best.
Right. The people
Well,
who had intimate relationship with the Bible.
100%. And you
Yeah.
totally understand why. Because sometimes we're not meant to understand tragedy
Right.
and there's suffering in this world. But you know, when you understand that it's all his plan, as much as that may hurt, like it's okay to grieve, it's okay to hurt. But it's out of our control, you know. There's a saying that I heard one time in one of the sermons that said, when you think you're in control of your life, that's when you're least connected to reality. When you finally realize that you're not in control of life, that's when you're truly connected in reality.
Mm.
And that was very tragedy, you know.
It's funny. I was talking to one of my 8-year-old yesterday, and he tries to control everything where the other two boys just go with the flow. And I kind of
Yeah.
like, I'm trying to show him that, not in a negative way, but let him know, like, hey, at some point that's going to be a hurdle for you. Like, he tries to
Yeah.
control everything. It's absolutely wild.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And there is no happiness there.
There's not.
No. Ben Alderman. I think that means prayers.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hey,
Hey, Ben.
you know Ben, right? NorCal Classic Ben, been around forever.
Yeah, we competed during the same era. We were competing during the same time.
When you started street parking, you had a big sign that you can't possibly know how God works, because you guys started street parking and it was supposed to be these two super beautiful people who start this program and people watch it. And next thing you know, Miranda gets pregnant and you guys are like, fuck, no one's going to follow us. And it ends up being a catalyst for the explosion, right? People love her vulnerability, her showing her pregnancy. And it's like, holy shit, wow. Not according to plan, explodes. Are you guys going through something like that now too? Because as you know what I mean, you have everything from the outside, right? You're helping, you're servicing people, you have healthy kids, a beautiful wife, you're chasing your passion and your dream, and yet you're still like, wow, there was something missing. Or it's going to take a different path now. You probably weren't thinking, oh shit, 2025 is going to be the year that I fully embrace God. And are you concerned? And let me ask you this. Let me pile on even further. Are you afraid that that could affect your business? Like, because there's people out there who just, they can't even. I mean, I was like this as a young man. I couldn't even accept Christians. You know what I mean? A lot of young people just want to fight back and just be like, no, those people are crazy. There is no God.
You know, we're 8 years into street parking at this point. You know, we have 30,000 members, and
Congratulations. It's so cool. As soon
yeah,
as you
thank you,
came
man.
on, the chat filled up with keys.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I love it. I love it. You know, I think my focus this year, because the thing is, I made street parking my focus up until a year and a half ago. You know, it was my idol. You know, given you're young, you get this opportunity, success, and you're like, all right, well, this is going to change. Yeah, there's so much good that came out of it, but it also gave me something to hide behind. It also was part of a distraction too, you know, because what needed to be addressed was my marriage. What needed to be addressed was strengthening the bond for longevity, because take away street parking, it's our family that it really matters, you know. And I got to tell you, man, God definitely had a plan for Mir and I meeting, because the amount of resilience that Miranda has and the unconditional love that she has committed to herself in this marriage has been like, it's why we're still here. You know, she keeps showing up and understands that, you know, God has a plan for me as well, and has a plan for our family. You know, she's been walking the same journey with me as well, which has been beautiful to see her do that, you know, and it's brought such an inner peace for her, because even for both of us, we can both now accept that before God, we were both idolizing even our marriage. That was the top. But then we were doomed to fail, because you know, you're going to fail your wife. Your wife's going to fail you regularly. And if that is your higher power, you good luck operating through life that way, Um, and so that's been a huge shift the last year and a half, placing something above us way more important. So that way he can guide our family. And even if people don't accept that, I understand. That's okay. It's not something that we want to like. You have Froning, who puts pray and puts his company started on that. Our walk with Christ is so early, and we're very committed to it. But I'm not trying to um I'll speak to it as a way that, hey, yeah, this is what saved me, but keeping it as our brand has always been. It's very we're here to be inviting. We're here to meet people with where they're at, you know and at the end of the day, our job, our stewardship in life, is to help people with fitness above all else, right? Like, we're here to help people, because even religiously, right, I think that's one thing that people are neglecting. People are so quick to talk about the spirituality and stuff like that, but hey, part of that is taking care of our temple, and that's our bodies. And luckily, that's where we give praise to what Greg created. Greg served the purpose in this life as well, and still does, with bringing the opportunities that Mur and I have, with being able to speak the CrossFit gospels, but back to what it was intended to be. You know, a platform, a medicine for longevity. Not a competitive the competitive scene. Like, that's beautiful, that's awesome, that's something that was born through it, no different than street parking was born through CrossFit. you know but we're here to be inviting to anyone, and if what I speak of here today kind of gives people this, like, oh, taboo feeling, it's okay. Like, you're good, you're not affecting us. Like, we're set.
I want to come back to GPP, General Physical Preparedness, and what an insane program CrossFit is. It's funny. I just randomly yesterday stumbled upon a chick who qualified for the Olympics. She wasn't even a swimmer, like a hardcore swimmer, but she was an old swimmer who started doing CrossFit again and then jumped in the pool and qualified for the Olympics. It's a great story. I just stumbled across. But before I do that, you said something about projecting shame onto Miranda, and that's one of the craziest
Mhm.
things about relationships when you're intimate with someone. You could, because people have their guards down, right? And so they
Yeah.
trust you, and then if you project stuff onto them, you could start to make them feel crazy, right? Like, if you start
Oh.
justifying shit that's not logical for yourself, like if I'm just my wife doesn't, I don't think my wife does this to me, but if she did do that to me, I have such trust in my wife that it could start to make me go crazy. Do you know what I mean? I'd be
Mhm.
like, "Fuck, what is she saying? Like, what do I need to be?" Uh, that's a gnarly trip, but that's kind of a young man's trip, right? Like, and you're still so
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Because, yeah, you could tend to gaslight your partner into
yeah, yeah,
thinking like
that's what
nothing's
it
right.
is. Sorry, yeah, you're
Mhm.
gaslighting your fucking partner, and it's like, what the I mean, I've been in professional relationships like that, but, intimate relationships like that, that's wild. That could lead to some wild shit. That's pretty crazy. Was that hard for you to admit that you did that?
100%. I think that's what led so much resentment. And Mer knew something was wrong. She's like, hey, and I think it's a gift that God gives women, like that intuitive
Yeah.
feeling, like that intuitive spirit. It's like, hey, something's wrong. I'm like, no, no, it's not. No, like, you got to really look into that. Like, no way, nothing's wrong. But in reality, something was definitely wrong,
You're like, "Yeah, that's on you."
and that's on you. And it's unfair, because that in itself brings about, so, like, making a woman question her reality, or someone question their reality, but I'm going to refer to this in our marriage. Making her question her reality was so that was unkind. That was not loving. It was not loving. And um but it was a way for me to just hide my shame. And then what happens too, right? And now I'm going to bring some therapy into that. Then you're having to manage shame by
Right.
having to perform your way through it. And then sometimes, like, when you don't have a proper coping outlet, then you start to lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms, you know? And that is also part of the journey, where, like, it's like figuring out how to, um, not let shame consume me, how to dissolve shame. It's like, how do we get rid of shame? Because no one operates well under shame. Like that's not good at all, right? Guilt is normal. Like, hey, I think God has planted the feeling like guilt, as a way to, like, yeah, you're probably doing something you shouldn't be doing, but shame is a way for, it's destructive. Hmm.
Why work through it? Why not just run from it? Did you ever think I'll just run from this and start a new beginning?
Absolutely. I totally wanted to run from it. Even this recovery process has been so brutal. Like, it has literally, like, it's like I'm writing my own Old Testament, like I'm writing the story of Julian Alcaraz right now, and having to really look at my patterns, my behaviors, things that made me operate the way I did, you know, before, I started before God, and then now I'm having to operate in a new way. So there's still things that I'm having to unlearn about myself, and things that tick my triggers, um, and um, so it's tough. It's really, really hard.
Let me read this. I just saw it says Romans. Let's see. Joshua Patterson, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is good, pleasing, and perfect.
Yes. Hmm.
So when you start pick up the Bible, is there anything where Miranda's like, oh shit, fucking my husband's about to go crazy? Or does she jump on board and support that?
No, she jumps on board, supports it. I mean, I think we both are walking this together, which I think has been very powerful. I would say, yeah, I could see
Timing's
how.
crazy that it worked for both of you. Like when my wife said she wasn't going to get our kids vaccinated, I just like sucked it up and swallowed it down. Like, all
Sure.
right, I got a crazy one. And then it took me like 2 years
Well,
before I realized, oh shit, she made the right decision.
Well, I'm so grateful that she is doing the same thing, because it's no different than, like, what Greg says before. Like, if you have one partner that goes to a CrossFit gym and the other one does not, look how much of a separation that brings. And that's just
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
fitness,
yeah, yeah.
Talk about spirituality, where, like, the most vulnerable, soul piercing things, you know, um, but we're walking it together, and we're able to really we're able to connect over that and have good, deep, meaningful conversations around it. And again, sometimes they go good, sometimes they don't, because, like, naturally, how can we not bring it back to the ways we've hurt each other? And that could feel very, like, shaming. You're like, all right, hold on, I didn't want this to go this way. But for the most part, as we continue to grow in it, we're able to understand and see each other for how we've both suffered and the things we've both had to overcome in our lives. Even Miranda did a post the other day, how she talks about how she was suffering before we met. Essentially, you took two broken people, we put them together, and then we try to perform our way through our relationship and marriage, and it was doomed the foundation was always broken, it was cracked, and um I just happened to be the person that was like, all right, well, I'm gonna act my own way, and I didn't have healthy coping outlets, and that's, that got exposed. No matter how difficult things are going in your marriage or in this life, that does not justify behaviors that can be very painful to your family. Like, if anything, seek help, you know um
Where
seek.
where's the line between sharing this? I know you guys are very forward facing in your company. You guys show all the, you're working out and kids are jumping all over you, and you guys are the cheerleaders, you're the scientists, you're the experts, you're the parents loving. Is there any party that's like, oh, wow, maybe I shouldn't be sharing all of this and I have to hide all of this to not distract from like what the core message has been?
Well, I would say that that's what got me in the problems in the first place,
Is
is
not
that I
sharing
felt
it,
like
hide it.
yeah, I try to hide it, because then it just build on the shame. It's like, hey, this isn't who, like, what pedestal you guys are placing our family on is not reality. Like, we are two human beings that have our own issues and have our own life problems, and we're just trying to make it work as best we can, but now at least we have someone to guide us. I think
That
being
being
able to
God, that being the Bible.
Mhm,
Mm.
mhm. Because the thing is, like, when you have something where, all right, you're mad, you're frustrated. I'm angry. I'm gonna act this way. It's like, okay, hold on, pause. Like, anger is a good thing. It's telling you something that is about yourself. Like, anger is essentially exposing fear. right? Anger, when you're really angry at something, in reality, you're hiding fear. Like you're scared of something and you're hiding it by just retaliating or just like being angry, like no. Um, and being able to have the space to do that and feel safe to do that is very powerful, um, and especially as adults, like, okay, well, if I'm supposed to be the man of the house, or if I'm supposed to be the leader here, who do I go to where I'm feeling afraid? But instead of allowing ourselves to feel afraid and just hide in God, and spend some time in prayer and spend some time like, hey, I'm okay. This is what I'm really scared of here. This is my fear, and that's why, reading the Bible at my own expense has been very powerful, because you're able to kind of see like, well, what does the ultimate guide say? It's like, shoot. And then you can have a moment with that. You can have a moment and, being angry even about that or being frustrated. But at the end of the day, those choices are going to lead to great outcomes. It's the ultimate wisdom.
Any pushback from the tribe? And any snide comments like, "Oh shit, Julian's a Bible beater now," or "Oh great, street parking's gone the way of Christ," or
No, because I don't really do that in the office. Like I'll have one-on-one vulnerable conversations with certain employees of ours, but for the most part, like I'm not one to come in there and say like, all right, we're gonna sit down and pray. We're like,
okay,
here's the thing. Even that right now in this season of life would feel performative.
yeah,
It would feel like I'm trying to like project onto others what my journey is. And at the end of the day, like I'm doing this for myself. Like I need to focus on my growth in this so that it's going to withstand the test of time. Not, all right, this is the new cool thing, This is the new shoe company. This is the new
right,
thing. Like
right.
no way. Like that's so unfair and unkind. And honestly, like that to me is something that turns me off in other individuals as well. It's like, hey, I see your passion for this, but I'm an adult here, and um, I'm just going to focus on this for now.
Dude, so smart. I love it. The big shift here. General physical preparedness. When I think of CrossFit, I think, Greg was training people to add CrossFit to whatever they're doing that would make them better, whether you be a parent or whether you just have always been second place in the Jiu-Jitsu World Championships, or whether like you just want to make it onto the Oakland Raiders, back in the day. You do CrossFit, it takes you to that next level. And then obviously there was the needs of our Olympic athletes and our parents, different by degree, not kind. And so, there's it's for everybody.
Hmm.
And then obviously there's the stopwatch, and I'm torn because as soon as you put the stopwatch in, it's a competition, right? You put the stopwatch in, it's a competition, and I'm okay with that. I'm not poo-pooing
Sure.
that at all. It's fun. It's
Hmm.
cool. It's especially there's times in your life where that's inspirational. But you were hinting that you think that there's a people out there who've lost their way of what it really is, or that it's fracturing.
One of the greatest things about, I believe that we found CrossFit to help us even through this season of our life, because what CrossFit does and prepares you not only physically, but mentally, what we endure in workouts, right? Not only are we challenging our physical being, but that mental grit, that mental toughness. We're also strengthening that as well. It's like, it's so potent just for that reason alone, like fitness in general, right? But especially CrossFit, like going into it and, had given in our relative intensity for the day. And obviously, Mer and I, we don't shy away from, I mean, Mer will still puke in a workout if she wanted to. We don't shy away from intensity. We've embraced it at this point. I think that what all that has prepared me for is this last year and a half of our life as well, because my body was so strong. Like physically in this world, I was 0.01% of the world, right? It was games out, qualified for the games twice. Awesome. Cool. That's a great feat to put underneath my belt. Congratulations to accomplish this. But I think all that was preparing me for the spiritual and mental battle that I was going to endure this last year and a half, because there's been days where like my body just did not want to function because of the stress, the depression, the overcoming of self, and because I knew how to tap into that mental aspect of it one step at a time, more than nothing, consistency is key. Yeah, I had to put the stopwatch away, because then that in itself, as a competitive athlete who's so ingrained in 3, 2, 1, that beep, right? Okay, I got to time it. Coming from somebody who was in the 1%, yeah, my fitness has completely declined. But now I feel like it's on a better trajectory for like, blending the mental and the physical for longevity. Not fitness spiked and now it's going to do a hard crash, as you're seeing some people, kind of turn their backs on CrossFit. And it hurts me because it's like, hey, are you turning your back because all you ever knew was the competitive side of CrossFit and
Mm,
games training?
mm.
Or, like Mur and I, we were coaches before we dabbled into the competitive side of things. I loved training people. And when I found CrossFit, I loved teaching people CrossFit. And then the training aspect of it became fun and a side hobby. Then I just kind of rolled with it and I kept going. But above all else, I love helping people in their fitness journey. But yeah, for me, um, the last year and a half, I was able to take that aspect of what CrossFit has shown me, the mental grit, the grind, to help persevere with this journey that our family's been on and what I've been on as an individual as well.
What do you have any like assessment of what you think has happened since Greg sold the company in terms of CrossFit? Like the big picture for me is that when Greg was running, he didn't really care who stayed or went. He just ran it based on his values and his beliefs, and he just went that way, right? And so like and that's kind of how I see street parking as. You have strong values, convictions, morals, and so you just keep going. You're not trying to become popular, and so it kind of it stays pure. But now, since it has become a money making operation, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but
It's okay.
they have a fiduciary duty, obviously, right, to make money for their that you there it's the leadership has gotten it's not the leadership that the crowd is used to having.
So you're asking me for my opinion on
Yeah,
what's happened
that's
to
that's like,
CrossFit
yeah,
since.
that's my really big picture. That's the biggest thing I think going on with CrossFit. Like Greg would every 3 months poke his head up and be like, "You're gone. Fuck you. No.
Mhm,
Go
mhm.
this way." You know what I
Well,
mean? And some people would fall off the cliff, some people would leave, but then the whole machine would keep going. And like we had a vision, and it was based on, curing the world's most vexing problem, longevity over medical marker, all that stuff.
mhm,
So we had a strong leader, and so we just went. And I think big picture, I think that's what's happened with CrossFit. Like it cultivated this group of people who really want strong leadership,
mhm.
and it's
Well,
not them anymore. So
you can
everyone,
see it in the content.
right? The
Like
kids are
it,
fighting.
it almost seems like the only thing that they keep falling on is community, 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 community. It's like, which is a huge part of growing a business. It really is.
Right.
But what's the messaging you're trying to push here? And I think Greg had a beautiful way of delivering. Like he was so passionate, and he still is, right?
Right.
Obviously, he wants to start metrics,
Right.
and really, I've heard him speak to what he's way more impressed by is the 300-pound person that comes in and loses 100 pounds.
Right.
Not the athlete that can do a sub 2 minute Fran. Like that's impressive. Like that's cool and all that. That's performance based. That's and what the body's capable of doing. But I think that his vision, his drive, is what really the messaging really, what people latch onto that messaging. Now, obviously, people can say he's a controversial figure and all that stuff, and that depends on people's emotional tolerances to what he's saying. But if you see what he's saying, you see what he's delivering, you see what his purpose is, it's easy to support that. And now, because it has sold to this company like Berkshire Hathaway, like who are the owners? And so it's operating very differently now. It's operating where it feels like now the main purpose of it could be monetary as opposed to message driven. And for Mur and I think a lot of what we loved about Greg's delivery is like, yeah, you got to have a strong message and you got to lead with the messaging and let the rest follow. One of the things that I really
Not
appreciated Greg
follow
saying.
or just leave.
Exactly right. One of
Yeah.
the things I appreciated about Greg was like he would say he just put everything out there for free. He's like, because why would I continue to add a paywall and put the better stuff behind the paywall? Because I want everybody to get to know this message. I'm trying to help lives here. And I think, look what has been born because of it. No matter how people personally may feel about him as an individual, it's like, hey, don't even attempt to open up the skeletons in your own personal self's closet. Nobody wants to do that. But it naturally happens when people are in their limelight like that, And Greg seems to be more real, more authentic, and sometimes that could be to people's discomfort.
If I'm let's say I'm leading 5 guys. Okay, I'm leading 5 guys. Then I'm leading 10 guys. Okay, I'm leading 10 guys. Now I'm leading 20 guys, and there's 2 guys who don't like it, right? They don't like what time we get up in the morning. They don't like what we eat at night. Now I'm leading 50 guys. And where I was going at is by the time you have 100 guys, you can't be trying to lead all the guys. You have to be okay with 5 guys falling off.
You have to be, and that's where I think I really appreciate it. We went to a Ramsey conference and like on business entre leadership and stuff like that about over a year and a half ago. And
Yeah, Souza loves that guy. That's a good dude.
It's so good. I didn't get to meet him one-on-one, but again, he's doing what we're trying to do here in the finance world, right? He's speaking the same thing over and over and over, and people may not be entertained by it, but hey, consistency is not entertaining, you know, but it's what works. And he said, he's like, as he talked about his beginning, and he's like, when I first started what he was doing, I was so focused on leaving the front of the pack to bring the weakest person and help them keep up. And that works at the beginning. But at some point, hey, then that means you've left the leader who's leading the company now. You have to, and it's uncomfortable because as human beings, we care. Who wants to see somebody falling off, But at the end of the day, if you leave the front of the bus, and who's driving it?
Yeah.
You have to be driving it. That you got to lead. You got to take people where they're going. And the people, some people maybe not want to go where you're going, but the people that will want to go they're gonna go.
You just described our school system.
Yeah, that's a tough one too.
New Jersey the state of New Jersey starting Jan 1 just removed the reading, writing, and math requirements to become a school teacher. They had a shortage of teachers, so what they did is they removed the fucking reading, writing, and math test, Julian.
That's so tough. And because luckily Mur and I agree. It's crazy, man. That's why Mur and I'm so grateful that we align on so many things regarding, especially raising our boys, because one of the most beautiful things that we have the ability to do here, I'm sure call it United States, is we have the ability to choose, right? And yeah, some things aren't going in the right direction, and we have the ability, instead of focusing my efforts into listening to what's going on out there, because that could make me angry. It's like, yeah, how can it not be super frustrating? But Mur and I have found, like, okay, we put the boys in a private school. We were homeschooling them for a little bit, but ever since, like, hey, we had to focus in this season of life, that's very demanding. Homeschooling is extremely demanding, and praise the people that have the ability to do that. And we plan on pulling the boys, but they're going to a private Christian school that's literally 2 miles away from where we live, which has been amazing as well. Because frankly, what's going on in the school system, there's 2 ways that I feel about it. When you have volume the way you do, and it almost feels like a daycare system, and no fault. We have so many amazing teachers out there. We have a lot of caring teachers. You see it in the street parking community as well. So what's going on there right now, it's very sad. But as an ability to choose, if you have the option to do so, you're faced with 1 or 2 options. You change the course of your child's future and, see if there's alternatives. If not, then you have to make do with the best option you have available. And I think many parents are struggling with that. And it sucks because of all these changes that are happening. It's unfortunate.
I was wondering the other day, I think a lot of parents send their kids to school knowing that their kids are around people that aren't good. And I always wonder what like that threshold is for parents. I had a friend who made fun of me because I homeschooled my kids, and for him it was the school shootings, and then finally he pulled his kids out of school. Right? He's like, school shootings. That one didn't bug me because like I live in this world like it'll never happen to me. You know what I mean? But I always wonder where that threshold is. You know what I mean? Like more and more society is bumping up against each other, and we're seeing more and more problems. You're seeing like people don't see the big picture until it pushes up against them. So like when do you pull your kid out of school? When you see a boy changing in the locker or in your girl's locker room, is that too much for you? Or when you find out the teacher's teaching something that's not true to your kids, it's interesting. Like when does that come to where you're like, all right, I'm pulling my kid out of school?
Yeah, and I would say those are the one things that I'm super grateful that we're not in that position, because I don't know what I mean, we'd find a way to pull them out for sure. But I have empathy for the parents that don't have that option. Like, again,
Yeah, exactly. Right.
we've been blessed with the ability to, be able to afford private school. It's not cheap, and so that's another thing too. I don't ever want to come across as like, well, you have a choice, so pull your kids out of school. Like, no, it's not that simple either. I'm just grateful that we have had the choice, and we have chosen, as opposed to, you know, belittling others that don't have that option. It's like, no, we just, I'm grateful that we have it, that we have the option to do it.
I have to imagine if parents could see what happens in school, or if they thought back what school was like when they were a kid, or if they had access to their kid's Snapchat account, they would be flabbergasted that there
Well, let me
is.
just put it this way, right? Like, even the Christian school that we have the boys, because we volunteer. Like, they have this watchdog program where
Mhm.
dads can go drive around the campus, and then we get to go in our boys' classroom and volunteer and help and stuff, and that's super special. Like, I love doing that. The boys love when Papa shows up, and then Miranda's very heavily involved as well. But there, even then, there's some things that I'm not a huge fan of. Like, now, all of a sudden, every time a kid has a birthday party, they are always bringing sweets in there,
Yeah, yeah.
and now our boys have developed like a sweet tooth, and it's just like, hey, where that wasn't an option before, that wasn't a thing.
Right.
And I had to let go of that a little bit, because of the choice that I made. This is part of the outcomes that come from it. Now I'm not in full. Miranda and I don't fully get to see what's going on and have 100% influence on how we're raised, because for 4 or 5 hours out of the day they're in school away from our supervision. Whereas, opposed to if we had my mom or our nanny, where we're like, hey, this is the rules, this is what we have. They're no longer in that full-time environment, and so there's cons to that as well. Especially probably the way you raise your boys too. Could you imagine if you start seeing them just all of a sudden, like, I want apple juice. I'm like, wait, what? We've never had apple juice here.
Hey,
Or I want.
that phenomenon you said, yeah, that's at jiu-jitsu, right? Your kids are some parent walks in with like the craziest, like a 10-pound bag of gummies, and it's the kid's birthday. And all the kids are circling the bag, eating it, and you're like, holy shit.
Well,
You
even
know?
rewards, like every reward, it's like, all right, you've earned a reward. Here's a sucker. It's like, no, we don't
Yeah,
want a sucker.
right.
Mhm.
Matt Souza, good morning, Matt. People pull their kids out of school for the very low probability of a school shooting, but don't pull them out of school for the very high probability of lack of critical thinking. The irony. Yeah, it's a good point. Julian, I saw something the other day about AI, about how AI is basically going to take everything over. It's going to take over programming. It's going to take over this. It's going to take over that. But the one thing AI will never be able to do is create communities. And they were basically saying like, hey, that's like a crazy important thing. If you're not making community with what you're doing, then you're missing the boat. And I was thinking to myself, well, I'm here every morning at 7 a.m. with these cats, like the Barry McCockeners and the Heidi Krooms, and I come here every morning, and the Standys and the Christines. It wasn't my intention to build community, but when I heard that, it kind of made me feel good. I was like, okay, cool. At least we have something that's real here. Interaction with
Yeah.
means. Do you trip on that too? How far ahead you guys are on the curve of that, of things that are sustainable and will add unique value to planet Earth? The fact that you guys have a really healthy community.
I'm really grateful for that, because you go through a season of business where you sometimes naturally you can shift towards wanting to grow the business more and more and more, right? Because of course, like, it's nice making extra money, it's great, but then you
And it's a
start to
great
realize,
metric
like,
for success, right? Okay, I have 15 clients. I only had 10 last week.
that's correct. It's a great metric for success. But then what actually became more of a headache was now the new having to onboard new people with how the culture is at street parking.
Uh, uh.
And that became such a headache because people just didn't get what we were trying to say. So at this point, we're in this 30,000 member range, but it's all just like the top trickling off. It's people jumping on, they want to try something new and fancy, but they're like, but then they struggle with like the consistency and the simplicity of it. Well, should I not be doing more? No. But we're in a season where we're done trying to entertain people and telling them that they need to do more. No, you don't. You just are having a hard time adjusting to the changes, because all the changes you need to make are not just in the gym. Like it's a holistic change that you have to make. But I think people choose one thing and to blame it on, and then they leave. But the community that we have, the foundation of the community we have, is very powerful. And that's one thing that we're trying to focus on, is going back to more of a backyard barbecue feel, as opposed to like a restaurant feel, because you're growing. Street parking started, it's a very backyard barbecue feel. And then we've had these massive events. You saw one at Fitness Freedom. We had one in Vegas, 500 people show up. But then it's hard to really connect with our members that way. I'm a very social person. I really love having conversations like this. I hate when we have big events and people, like, yeah, they want to take pictures and all, but when I can't really soak in the gravity of what they're telling me. Hey, you have changed our lives. Because then you have somebody else, there's a line of people wanting to tell you the same thing. That feels horrible to me, whereas opposed to if you're like at a backyard barbecue, you can have those conversations with each individual and have more depth to it. That's something that I would like to kind of go back to.
There was nothing cheesy about that event. That was a cool event. When you had at the ranch. Yeah, I mean, I know personally for you, I saw you were running around like a fucking chef with an apron on. You were running around like a madman. I mean, you did everything, from steer traffic to deliver food to run a workout. I mean, but for the people who were there, like, it was cool.
Yeah, I'm glad. And I'm grateful that you guys were able to check it out.
And shit and food going around and people laughing and like you didn't know who you were going to meet. And it was cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm glad that, you do have a community. It's awesome. You can see it. And street parking has a really solid community. I'm grateful for it as well. And at this point, we're just trying to stay the course. We're trying to do what street parking does really well and just stick to it. And there's so much more competition now too. But honestly, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that there's these other platforms out there that people can go dabble and try and find their tribe and community. Because when street parking first started, we were the only ones. Like, they were the dumbbell program, but now everyone's the dumbbell program. Everyone's they're starting to realize, like, oh, people are really busy. They have very limited time. Sometimes people have very limited space. And we're just here to support part of the ecosystem in CrossFit of individuals that don't have the ability to go to the gym, and because that's our lifestyle. But even when we do travel, I love popping into gyms. I love rolling up and paying the drop-in fee and just hanging out and being part of that community as well. It's just, I love it, man. I really love the space that we're in.
Did you ever think, clearly you guys are very familiar with CrossFit. You never poo-poo it. You always give it credit. You have no problem saying the word CrossFit. Some people are scared to say it. You guys are just like cousins. You know what I mean? You guys come together for barbecues and then go about your way. Did you ever think it would be like that? Did you ever think when you first started street parking that you would be an adversary towards CrossFit, or do you ever feel that happen?
I think at first, like Mur has stated, I think it felt like its own thing, and she was just trying to respect not using CrossFit, and she didn't know how they felt about it. She's like, oh, are they gonna think that we're trying to take anything away from them? But as we've grown, and we started seeing the support from like Dave and even like Nicole Carroll and you, for example, and all the people that were part of the Level 1 seminar, I think that was definitely way more validating for Mur, because she has such roots in the beginning of CrossFit.
Yep.
How much time she dedicated to the brand. And I loved seeing her just kind of see how much respect she's gotten from her peers that she worked with or that she looked up to, for now being like recognizing like, oh, they're actually an adversary. They're not talking smack about CrossFit. They're not trying to throw it under the bus. They get the messaging, and we're going to stay true to that. That's actually we believe in it still 100%. So we love being an adversary.
Julie Jones, one of the reasons I was convinced to join street parking was because the community is open to people from all backgrounds. How many dwarves do you have? Julian?
What was the question?
How many dwarfs do you have?
Dwarfs?
Yeah.
I don't know how many dwarves we have. It's not something I've tried to keep tally of.
You just don't have that in your demographic. When you and Miranda both competed at the highest level. Obviously, Miranda has been around since the dawn of time with CrossFit. Did the whole thing, seminars, flow masters, games, employee. She held every role. When the Lazar died in event one this year, can you share anything about when you and Miranda got together? Any of your private conversations you guys had about that? Any thoughts you had about that?
I was on my way to go work out with my friend, or who's a pastor as well, the guy I've been meeting with weekly, to go work out with him at his house when that happened, and it rocked me. Like I couldn't even focus on my workout. And then Mur and I had a conversation about it, and how honestly, it's just heartbreaking, man. It really, really is. And we're grateful that we weren't in the position that, Dave was in. I sent Dave a lot of messages during that time that we're here. I was here to support him, whatever support he needed, because it just felt like that moment really tore the community even further, and it's just tragic, man. It's sad. Hmm.
Uh, Especially because it wasn't like, not that anyone deserves to die, but he was a really good dude.
You can see it in
Gregarious,
his energy.
pleasant,
You can see
familial.
it. He's just fun. He got along with the other people. And I even thought about it from the point. Could you imagine if like your kids were competing in a competition and that happened, and they saw their brother? I even kind of saw it from that perspective, and that broke my heart that his brother was there. I would, there's a lot of grief still happening. You can see it.
And then you are friends with Dick, and so then you see, a lot of people obviously want to blame him as understandably so, as the director of the event. So you're friends with him, and then you're like, holy shit. Very few people want to do this, but they're like, man, I wonder what he's going through.
He was going through so much, and I think that sometimes we're all still human at the end of the day, and we try to deal with the circumstances as best we can. I do know this, like Dave is the kind of person that eh, that pained him just as much. How could that not? Like that was, you saw it, his distress, his pain, and you can, no matter what people may have called mistakes or this and that, all I know is that his redemption, or we'll call it redemption or not, he's going to double down and protect um, the brand moving forward. If that's still the role they're going to have him in, he just cares. Dave cares. He's always cared. And maybe that did bring service to, like, all right, you see it now happening, right, with the PFFA, even CrossFit's like, okay, well, we're going to start our own version of the PFFA. Great. Like if that's how this, that the CrossFit sport is evolving, good. You guys are having the right conversations for sure. But as a human being, Dave Castro, he's got a good heart. And I know that he was actually reading the Bible as well. And about a year ago, when we went out to where did we go? We went out to Idaho when we did that. Miranda was like live commentating with Sherwood when we were at Madero's gym during the open workout.
Oh, right.
He was opening up about he started, reading the Bible, and we were having a conversation around that. It's so good. Maybe that was giving him the tools he needed to get through this moment,
Yeah, it's interesting.
because
Like
it's
he was on the show a couple weeks ago, and I asked him that, and he said, "I'm not ready to talk about that now." But that's a really good point you brought up. He started reading that just prior.
Mhm.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and I would say, one of the things that I know I had text you on, if I could speak my perspective to
Please, please.
the athletes. Yeah, like there's a lot of change happening, and I could see even as I watch your show and I see some of the other things. So I keep up with what's going on in the community because I care about the community still. And I just think that there's a lot of people grieving still,
Yeah,
grieving.
yeah,
And there's a lot of people that are expressing their grief in anger. There's a lot of people that there's a lot of valid points on both sides, but at the end of the day, like if you keep tearing the community apart, with the World Fitness League, it's like, gosh, do you guys know how expensive that's going to be? Like, do you guys like what's the longevity and sustainability of something like that? Like, no matter the well intention behind it, you know, it's my belief that it's like, yeah, start having the right conversations with the people it's no different than any relationship. Okay, if you guys feel like there's an abusive relationship happening, or you guys aren't feeling heard, I think they're in a position to hear. But that stuff takes time. Asking for immediate change just breeds resentment. It's very clear that boundaries have been violated. Um, Athletes haven't been feeling like they've been protected, but then they contradict themselves in so many ways, because then in other events that are outside the CrossFit Games, it's like, are you guys speaking up as much as you would be in this competition? So it feels a little, there's a hypocrisy that it feels like, um, but I hope that it can resolve itself, because yeah, I think people are just angry still.
You're the scene you're pointing is like there was an accident in a town at a 4-way stop, and now the town wants to put in 30 stoplights everywhere. And it's like, what, like just an instant, you're saying that there's some instant reactions. Do you think that that's what the World Fitness League is? You think it's just a reaction to Lazar dying, as opposed to something that's, well thought out and sustainable? Is that what you were alluding to? Or
Well, it's just the drastic shift makes me question the reasoning behind it, because from what I've been hearing is that $14 million was supposed to be used to start like some kind of nonprofit gym, or some kind of gym for the community out of Nashville. Is that correct?
I heard it at first. I thought it was supposed to be a gym for little kids, but then after listening more closely, I think it was supposed to be a gym where high level athletes could go train, and all the profits then would go to kids. I
Interesting.
think that's
So
my
that
understanding.
that so to me, it's like that's a beautiful mission. Like,
Right.
that, what needed to steer from that? What w- and it's like, oh well, another opportunity for athletes to compete. It's like, all right, look, there's already a lot of opportunities for athletes to go compete. And uh, it feels rushed, and it just feels rushed. And I'm just at this point, I'm an observer. It's not something that I would have personally done. Um, but yeah, I think athletes are just angry, and here's another reality too that these athletes aren't recognizing as well. They do carry some weight, but at the end of the day, like, the community is the CrossFit affiliates are who carry the most weight. They're the ones that are funding all the things that are happening for everything, the level one seminars, and the messaging behind that. The sport aspect of it, how sustainable is that really, right? Especially what's the longevity of an athlete? One of the things that I had to wrestle with was the reality of, like, the exit of competition, and that was a hard transition for me, because it's like, oh well, my whole identity is rooted in being a competitive athlete. But in reality, you start to see, you bring up a great point. I think you shared like a Dana White perspective on it. That was like, this is just an opportunity for the athletes. It's not a career. And I agree with that, because for me, when I qualified in 2017, and I chose to, like, I'm not going, like, I'm done. I'm actually going to focus on street parking now. Like, I recognize that was a beautiful time. That was an opportunity. I proved to myself all I wanted to prove to myself. I wasn't willing to sacrifice the things that I want in my personal life, given that I was just to become a father. Mara and I started a business together, and and I didn't want to sacrifice more time to go to that next level of things. I recognized I was getting older. I'm like about to be 27 years old at the time. How many more years do I really have ahead of me? And that was one of the greatest decisions that I ever could have done, channeling that kind of mindset into this new venture in life. But if you still hold on to it, it becomes harder to detach from it. Because even detaching from it took 3-4 years for me to not feel like I had to fulfill some kind of expectation that maybe I was putting on me. But then there would also be people, when are you going to come back to the competition floor? And so you start to, like, oh, well, I got to go back, right? Like, clearly, like, I got to go. No, I don't have to go back and do that. That was a season of my life, and I'm grateful for this new, more meaningful part of my life.
You're a perfect example of that. Someone who took the opportunity and parlayed it into something else, along the same avenues of passion. Taylor Self, the exact same thing. Just open. You met. You were training with Miranda. You met her. You were open to this thing of starting your passion. When you hit the first obstacle with her pregnancy, you didn't turn away from it. You're like, well, hey, it's what we're doing, and so you turned that opportunity into a career, into a life. And it's funny, you see the people around us who are doing that. you know,
Mhm.
whether, you know, it's going back in the day when Rob Orlando made molds, right? Or look at what Bill Henniger and Katie Henniger have done, right? I mean,
Mhm.
they made the Amazon of fitness. And so it is out there. It's interesting. On one hand, I want to tell people like, hey, always keep your eyes open for it. But then also being a professional athlete at the highest level, competing at the highest level, you pretty much can't keep your eye on everything.
Right, you can't keep your
Right.
eye on everything, and, you know, like, it's a perfect example, right? Like, you have, you know,
Even
you
look at
see a lot
Rob
of these
Wolf with this LMNT. Sorry, there's 100 of them. The RX bar, that guy made $600 million.
oh, big time. I mean, look at Perfect Food Bar, right? I think that
Yeah,
started in our
yeah,
space as well, I feel
yeah.
like. You have naturally people's public opinion can sway a lot of your future outcomes. So, for example, you have uh, Justin Medeiros wins the games 2 years in a row. He was like on cloud nine, and then he was just like, "Hey, maybe I just want to have a girlfriend. Maybe I just want something different, meaning in life." But then he continues to compete, not in those top positions anymore. And now look at what that's left for people to criticize him on.
Right.
You know, could you imagine if he was just like, yeah, I won the game twice. Cool. I'm moving on. I'm going to share a different purpose. But, maybe that his passion was to continue to compete. And that's where sometimes the question I would pose out to athletes, like, what are you trying to fulfill? What are you trying to fulfill? And whose standards are you trying to fulfill? Um, I can respect the athletes that are out there saying, like, you know what, I have Mal O'Brien was a perfect example. She's like, you know what, I'm good. This is consuming me. This is not what I signed up for. I'm doing something else. Because yeah, to be that level of greatness requires sacrifice that sometimes it's hard to come back from. The struggle, the mental struggles that come from letting go of that kind of discipline and selfishness to then something else. I can't even imagine that transition.
And you and I both know a lot of people who've been struggling with that for years, like
Hmm.
years and years. Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like people have everything. Do you think it's okay? I remember Mike Tyson when they asked Mike Tyson, they're like, "Hey man, you should get some therapy," and he's like, "No, what if they fix me? I won't be able to kill people in the ring anymore."
I did see that comment. Yeah,
You
he,
know
he
what
didn't
I
he
mean?
didn't want to have an inner
He's
peace. Yeah, he
like,
didn't want
yeah,
to have an inner
I don't,
peace.
I don't need. Uh, do you think it's? And sometimes I hear CrossFitters say there's things besides CrossFit, but do you think it's okay to your 22-year-old male and as much as this might be blasphemous, just put it all on the line? Be like, I don't care if I get emotionally hurt. I'm okay with just completely selling, like being singularly focused on this. You know what I mean? Just pursue this, and if I fail, I fail. But then I know I gave it my all.
Like, yeah, I think we all need that, knowing what that feels like. Because if not, you'll have regrets in your life. Like, man,
Right.
I wish I would have given my all. I think
Right.
we all just want to give our all into something.
Right. Like
But
when I hear
again,
balance, I'm like, fuck you, balance. You're 22. Fuck balance. Go crazy.
no, no. What I will say is that the only thing looking back, and is that um, the spirituality in my walk with God is something that would have benefited me greatly during that my youth, during the early 20s. I'm still young, which is great, but during the 20s and stuff like that, because I think it would have helped me focus even more on what I wanted to accomplish out of life. Um, yeah.
Julian, I heard of Vivek Ramaswamy talking about how men go through cycles of gathering and serving. And he was saying, he was basically showing Joe Biden, he's like, hey, you got this president and you've been in office for 40 years. And so you're going to go through these cyclical cycles. There may have been times when he was a great server, but when you have great power and you're in the collecting phase, that's when corrupt shit starts to happen, right? You're like, okay, but I need to get a
Oh
couple million.
man.
At 35 now, do you like, I don't remember having any really much I don't know. But do you feel that ebb and flow, the servitude and the collecting? Like, okay, I want a house, okay, but I want to do this and I want to surrender myself and do this. And then oh, but I want to have this for my kids. Do you feel that as you get older, those cycles?
Yeah, right now, it's yes, a selfless journey, right? Because that's the most rewarding. is when you're able to just give, because giving to your marriage, giving to your kids, giving to your communities, that there's so much fulfillment in that. There's so much, right? And there's so much freedom in that.
Yeah, freedom. There's so
There's
much
so much
freedom. You don't got
freedom.
to deal with Julian or Sevon anymore. It's awesome.
Well, freedom, sometimes people will take freedom as being like, I do what I want and I do, and if I don't get my way, then, screw you. I don't want to be a part of you. It's like, well, there's not freedom in that, that's like very, people don't gravitate towards that kind of attitude and energy. Being selfless it's a beautiful thing. Even right now, like we built this barn gym, so we're in our new home. We put a lot of money into it for our long term here. And
Is this a forever home, you think? Like you'll be there for, yeah.
oh yeah, I mean it's we built a barn right outside of here that's like 2,000 square feet. It looks huge, and it's got like a 24 foot wide rig, and I using it to help some of the kids from the high school here at this church that our boys are going to, and also hosting, I'll be using it to host Bible studies for men during the summer. Like I was doing it at street parking this past summer, and that was super successful. I had like 15 guys rolling up, and we would do 45 minutes to an hour of reading scriptures around fitness, which is actually pretty unique, taking care of the temple. And then we would I'd lead them through a workout. And from there, then I'd bring my smokers out and we'd barbecue. So it was like reading, fitness, barbecue. And it was like 2 hour long gathering. And it was amazing. It was amazing. So I'll be using.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll be using, I built up, a nice little facility here to continue to give back and help. Yeah, that's it.
This is a crazy video.
Isn't that funny? But that's real life, like
oh,
kids.
Dude, I can relate to it so much. And you got one behind you. I like Miranda's got the hand back. And then in between sets, the last thing you want to do is get that thing. Even lifting that was probably hard. You're like, oh God, do I even have energy to roll this?
Well, look at that. Yeah. It makes huge struggle.
Yeah. You leaned on it for a second.
Yeah. Yeah. That's our space.
Yeah, that's dope. What's that window up top? See up on the top left, there's a window. Where's that look out? Is that just to the outside, light from the outside, or is that?
Yeah, let me show you. I'll show you a little bit of what's going on over here.
Yeah, that place looks awesome.
Hold on. That's like over there.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like a good space. We built like a guest house. So originally we thought we were going to put my mom in there, but I was like, nah, we could still use the space. So, but yeah, the barn's over there. It's like 50 feet deep, it's 2,000 square feet. It's great. And this hill here we use for a bunch of workouts in itself. It just keeps us fit,
Yeah, that's awesome. What was that green building up there? Is that a neighbor?
Yeah, it's a neighbor. There's like 7 people that live. It's actually kind of funny. Our neighbor here, he is stage manager for Metallica.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. He's like in his 60s, and they're just nice people.
Mm-hmm. Is Metallica still out touring?
I guess he's never home. Like they're always traveling. Like he's building that building. I can't really say anything about it because like we built a whole barn gym, but it's like a golf simulator is in the bottom, and then the RV storage parking, and then like a suite, like an office up top for like their artwork and stuff. It's cool. Like they do cool stuff.
Jeez, look at this. April. Oh, your neighbor's gonna be gone all of April.
Probably.
Those are the tour dates. That's jeez. Wow, yeah. They're busy.
Yeah, this is we're the youngest couple here for sure. We're waiting on this other couple that this Mormon couple from he owns like a pest control business, but they bought like 3 lots and they're building like this mega mansion, like with 2 basketball courts, like an indoor lazy river. It's crazy, man. And they have kids around our age or our son's age, so that'll be cool. It's like, hey, if you guys want to get fitness, you guys can come over here. If you guys want to go do all that side recreational stuff, go ahead and go over there.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And anything else you want to mention? God, you have. I feel like we could do. I need to stay in touch with you every 6 months. I forgot how young you are. 35, man. You've done so much already, Julian. It's crazy.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything you want to leave anyone with?
No, I hope that what people picked up from today is just to keep finding ways to grow. And obviously I hope my story helps others as well, and how with this vulnerability that I'm sharing, and yeah, keep fighting for your marriages, keep letting go of being your own God, I guess, because um yeah, it's family. Keep fighting for family.
Oh, sorry. You're saying this thing that's so nice, but I'll take it back to superficial. Congratulations on the Savage 1 release.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was super fun.
Dude.
Bear's a great dude, and yeah, I look forward to that dropping, and it's been cool to come out with that stuff.
Dude, it's such a great shoe. It's so cool. It looks so good with the gold key. It's cool.
Right?
Yeah, it's awesome. And you're right. He's good people and you guys are good people. It's a great partnership. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. All right,
Awesome,
dude.
man. Well, yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you, and yeah, thank you. We'll keep in touch, okay?
Okay, say hi to Miranda for me. Thanks, man.
Absolutely. All right, take care.
Ciao. Julian Alcaraz.
Wow.
Co-founder of Street Parking. Wow, look at you. Have you always had that mic there?
No, I had to move it because I had to move places. So I'm trying to figure out how this is going to work.
You're all fancy and set up.
Yeah.
God, I didn't. That was pretty. I didn't see that podcast going like that at all.
I didn't either. That was good.
Yeah. I want to show you something. Look at this. This is kind of along the line of what he was talking about. This is Bob Weir. I guess he was one of the Grateful Dead guys being interviewed. Okay. And I don't know if you know this, but when I was in college, like there were dudes who just collected Grateful Dead tapes, and there was another band called Fish, and so people would go, and so I would have these friends who would have like 100 different concerts recorded onto cassette tape.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Crazy shit.
About tickets, I'm curious particularly about what's called the taper tickets. First of all, what is a taper ticket, and why do you do it?
Well, way back in the 70s when people started recording our shows, first off, our record company said, you got to shut this down. And we looked at the situation and said, you want it shut down, you come in and shut it down. We don't want to be cops. And they looked at the situation and said, well, we don't want to shut it down either. How that worked out is, the tapes went out and they just promoted what we did. But there were a lot of people who resented having to peer around microphone stands to see the band. So we figured, okay, let's put all the tapers in one section.
I don't know of any band that allows people to come in mass, as it were, as a whole section to tape the performance. That's considered bad business.
Well, people tried to persuade us of that, but it never worked out to be bad business for us. Yeah, maybe we didn't sell as many records as we might have, but we didn't make great records. We were real good at playing live, and that's what people wanted. And the tapes of those, people would pass them to their friends, to their siblings and stuff like that, and we'd get new fans.
What about tickets?
They sold taper tickets.
Oh my God.
I can't tell you how much I love that.
They just put them all in one section and they were like, yeah,
like fuck you.
Go ahead. Forward.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. Do what you got to do. Hey, that would be like if CrossFit had like a steroid like simultaneously ran one. Like if you don't want to be drug tested, you could compete over here.
Yeah, just get them a different set of lanes and just let them try it.
Yeah. Here you go. You're a competitor.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I love it. Double microphones and louder performance were a huge factor. They were on the cutting edge for concert technology.
Wow. I always thought the Grateful Dead was like Metallica, Nirvana type. And then I listened to their music and they are not that.
No. I went to probably like 5 concerts. I don't ever remember the taper section. I don't really remember anything from those concerts, to be honest. They were known as a jam band, and so they were different every show.
Wow.
Sevi should sell casting couch tickets. I should.
Oh God, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Might need a new couch.
Fuck what other people think. No, this one's good. This one's good. Fuck what other people think. That's the thing. Like, so what if you let people record? That's just the thing. Everyone's just on autopilot.
They can't do it because it's bad. We'll lose money.
Yeah, and it's like, no. For Caleb to stop wearing the Les Baru hoodie.
Get me a hoodie that I'll wear every day, and then I'll stop wearing this hoodie. This is the problem. Everybody complains about this hoodie, but they don't realize that this is my favorite hoodie.
I like it.
Thank you.
How old is that hoodie?
Over a year old. My brother got it for me when he started working for Subaru.
I mean, that logo looks like it's from 1960s, like it's a Jetsons logo. That sweater, when I see you wear that sweatshirt, I think that it's like 25 years old. I don't think it's a year old.
They probably haven't changed this design in 25 years. It is a great hoodie. It's so comfortable. It fits great. It doesn't shrink.
You know
If
what's
you can-
weird is
if-
and no one cares really. When I think of like Subarus being for dykes, the thing is like they're for not dykes too. It's not a douche car. Like a Prius got a little douche in it. You're a douche. You're
Yeah.
probably a douche. You probably like, your kid's on his 4th booster. You wear 8 masks. You're a social justice warrior. Like Subaru, it's like, yeah, lesbians drive them and guys who are okay with themselves, with their like sexuality, who want a good, reliable car.
Yeah, or people that like to just work on they like to tune their car. They like the STI thing, like what is it?
Or maybe it's people who just like to tune up pussy.
Yeah, that too, man. You just want to have a
Subaru. Do you like to tune up
ricer
some
and,
pussy? Yeah.
yeah, dude.
I need to bring that phrase back. Tune up my wife's pussy. All right, show's over. We're gonna go tune up my wife's pussy. Oh, I drive a Subaru. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
There you go. Boom. Which one? You have an Ascent or you have an Outback?
No, I don't. But wrong. Subarus are super gay. I don't know. I think of them as I think of them as kind of like masculine, like in a weird way. Like they're the high testosterone Prius. Like it's
Yeah,
gay,
for
but
sure.
it's like, but it like it,
This is hilarious.
When Bryson got his Subaru, someone at the gym started hiding rainbow magnets on it every day. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, I would do a does Subaru, what do they make a is there like a good Subaru? Is there like a baller Subaru?
It's the one that Taylor has actually. It's like the outdoor version.
Like what's the most expensive Subaru they have?
Let me see. It's probably the STI.
Oh yeah, they got one that looks Euro and shit. The Solterra. SUVs, cars. Wow, they make some cheap ass cars.
They're very cheap, but they're also like some of the safest cars you can get, along with like the Volvo, obviously.
Wow. Yeah, the Outback Wilderness.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, they actually put a dirty car on their that's pretty cool.
It's pretty funny. All the people that work they also have like an automatic braking and then like the lane management. So like if you just you can just set it on cruise control and it'll recognize the lines and then it'll just auto drive for you basically. You just have to like adjust the steering wheel every once in a while.
CarPlay.
Oh, it's wireless CarPlay too in the new ones. Which is sick.
Do you so God, I hope my wife's not listening to this part. Both our cars have it so when you walk into the car, your phone attaches.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, and my wife's connected hers to both cars.
Yeah.
So I just disconnected my like it's just so fucking annoying. It's like
Because then you have to reset the Bluetooth.
I'm over it every time, but like if I drive next to her, like we'll be past each other, and my car will pick up her phone, or like if we're driving somewhere together, my car's like I'm like always like on. I just disconnected mine. I never even explained to her. I'm like fuck you, like I'm not like I guess I just don't do car music. I just play the speak like when I'm in my car and I want to do something on my phone, I do it through the speaker of the fucking phone, or I plug it in with the
98.5 on the radio.
Yeah, or I plug it in with the or I plug it in with we have the raddiest USB-C cable that comes from the car. Both I had to put both in, and it's like but I'm just like, for her, it's nothing. Her phone jumping around onto every car. Like every time I get in the car, whatever she's doing in the house, whatever car I'm in, I'm now doing it too until I pull off the driveway.
And then it crackles off until it's you're far enough away.
Yeah. I'm just like, fuck. How about you get one car and I get one car?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care which one it is. How about I just get one? So just like once in a while, I could enjoy this technology. Nope.
One of them, please.
Nope. I don't. Sevi, what's your go-to music these days? I don't know. I'll play it for you. Oh shit. Where? Oh, okay. Yeah, here. This song right here. I'll play it for you. This is I just listened to this song on repeat. This is the only thing I listen to. Here, listen to anything else. You know this song?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know Drake's in this song.
I didn't know that either. Oh, that dude. That's crazy because this was before Drake and Kendrick Lamar like have beef. Now it's like they hate each other.
Oh, this is when they were butt buddies?
Yeah, now Kendrick Lamar like made a diss track on him and it just blew up. It was actually pretty sick.
Jesus Christ, when's the song start?
Oh
my God, they bleeped it out. What the fuck is going on?
Sad.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
YouTube.
This is the shit you listen to? No, I just like that. That's just the first song that popped in my head. I haven't listened to NWA in a while, but I would listen to them. I don't even know what I listen to. Here, let me right here. I like music I don't even listen to music. I just listen to Fox News all day.
Oh my God.
Let me see what how about this? How about this? How about this? Nope, not that.
Wow, good. Just the sound of money.
I'm gonna go to my playlist. Oh, how about this? Here we go. This is what I listen to.
Jim Crow, this guy.
Jim Crow say. Okay, how about this?
Dude, no way.
Yeah, I'll probably cry if I listen to like more than 10 more seconds of this song. You don't like this song? This is a great song.
Yeah, if I'm depressed.
Yeah. Okay, how about this one?
Oh my God. What are we? Grey's Anatomy, dude?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Make me cry too.
How can you not like a song that says I found God?
That's Julian's song.
All right. Yeah. Oh, I should have played that for him. Damn. I like this. He has a song where like a girl left him or something.
Yeah, he like made a country song, didn't he?
I don't know, but if I hear that song, I start crying. I make my kids listen to it. You see, this album says Haley Love.
Post Malone and Morgan Wallen. It's this one.
Oh, this is the country song. Oh, I don't know this.
Huh?
I don't know this song.
Yeah, he played a country song with Morgan Wallen. It's not bad.
Is Morgan Wallen popular?
Yeah, he's a pretty popular country artist.
Why'd you throw them stones at you?
Yeah, it's good.
Avi just learned Olive Grenade.
Really?
Yeah, do you know that song?
Probably. Let me see.
It's the guy who looks like Michael Jackson.
Oh, Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars. I think Bruno Mars, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Now he's working on now he's working on singing it. It's pretty impressive.
Yes, I would die for you, baby.
I saw Hans in here. What the fuck is Hans saying? Sevon, I remember you loved In the Man. I don't know. Fuck you. I don't even know what you're saying, but I don't like any song that's called In the Man. Oh, I'm the Man. Oh, yeah.
50
Yeah.
Cent.
Look at Hans tweaked it for that's the California flavor Hans put In the Man. Yeah, I love I'm the Man. That's a great song. Good memory. Bitch, I'm the man. Ho, I'm the man. You know I'm the man.
Oh, God.
I think I have Gracie Walton on tomorrow night, but I also have the Binge Bros tomorrow night. And then Kill Taylor is 2,500 this week.
Yep. I think the calendar says Gracie Walton's tonight.
Oh, maybe that's why I didn't see her on the calendar. Oh, shit. Gracie Walton is tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Do you know who that is?
I think so. I just made a thumbnail for her.
This could be a wild podcast.
Why?
Just because she is she's squirrely.
She is kind of squirrely.
She's squirrely. Like she might not talk or she might talk shit to me or whatever. She's squirrely. I wonder if she's gonna bring her. I wonder if she's gonna bring her boyfriend on. He's pretty funny. Yeah, Gracie's dreamy. Yeah,
I hope so. He's fucking hilarious. It's like when Emily Rolfe comes on and her husband starts talking shit in the background. I like that.
But they got the roles reversed with Gracie and her dude. She's the one who talks the shit.
Exactly.
Like Emily's more the whooping girl, and her boyfriend's more the whooping boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Emily's husband's funny as shit.
He is funny. I like him. Why do people do this? Change their profile picture to a color.
Oh, I don't know. That'll be question number one.
Yeah. When I was looking at her profile yesterday to just kind of get stuff for the show, I noticed that Rad Global blocked me.
The shoe company?
Yeah, the shoe company.
What's their Instagram? Rad Global?
Rad_global.
Oh, Rad_global. I don't even see them. Does that mean they blocked me too?
Probably.
I see Rad Running.
Yeah, I think they made some other Instagram accounts for their running or training or some other nonsense.
Rad Global Instagram. If I search into Google, oh yeah, they did fucking block me. Why would they block me? Sorry, this page isn't available.
I don't know. I liked their shoes. I'll say that.
I didn't. They're fucking hideous. I was hanging out with Dave the other day and he was wearing them. I'm like, these are like, what the? How do you go out in public in this? Dude, it's Borat shit, dude. It's fucking.
No.
Yeah, dude. What's that movie Ben Stiller's in where he's a model?
Fuck. I can't remember.
Ben Stiller model movie.
Zoolander. God damn.
Yeah, dude. It's Zoolander shit, dude. It was crazy the shoe he was wearing. I was like, dude, this is the.
Are you talking about the running shoes?
I don't know what they were, but he was wearing them. I'm like, what
Like
you only wear
super-
shit people give you for free? These are hideous, dude. Let me see if I can find. I'll see if I can find their shoe.
Thank you, Adam. You've only been an advocate for the shoe. That's hilarious. Yes, thank you. I don't think I've ever said anything bad about the shoe, except for the one time.
Hey, dude,
the
the green tier shoe is way cooler than anything fucking Rad makes.
Fuck off. No way.
Okay, look at this. You have a problem with this shoe?
Yes.
I think that shoe is sick.
Retarded.
I mean, I could never fit me because I have fucking man feet. But
Those
Lem-
shoes are so dumb.
let me show you. Let me show you the rad shoes.
You just had okay, it's fine.
These are these their shoes?
Yeah,
These are
so
not the ones Dave was wearing, but these are ridiculous too.
they were probably the runners. Let's see if I'll find a picture.
God damn, those are just hideous, dude. It looks like those. It looks like those are made of microplastics that lower your testosterone. The whole shoe is just gross. Comfortable, functional, durable, well worth the price.
I like those rad. I like the rad training shoes. I got a pair of the running shoes. They're white, and so I just can't wear white shoes because I'm gonna get them dirty, and I hate when I get my shoes dirty too quickly.
How come you can't look at on Rogue? You can't organize by worst, most relevant, most helpful, highest, low. You can't go just lowest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, most relevant.
Huh? I didn't know that. I like that feature because I just want to read all the shit reviews.
I'm extremely disappointed that a pair of $150 shoes can start coming apart within 3 months. Really? I think that's fine. That can happen, right?
Yeah, it is kind of annoying. Like my Born Primitives, I've had them for over a year and they haven't come apart yet, and I've like fucked them up pretty good. So that would be my standard for shoes.
Hey, if a pair of shoes is comfortable, I don't give a fuck when it comes apart. Like I wear a lot of Victos, and the sole lasts like 2 months at the most.
Really?
Before it's just smooth. You know what I mean? Before it's just like I'm just on ice. I mean, it's still comfortable, but like I don't give a shit. As long as like it doesn't hurt my feet, I'm good. That's all yeah.
Man.
Oh shit. That's not a good sign. Some fucking 112-year-old dude from Ireland likes the same music I like. That's fucking bad.
Oh shit.
Oh man, I'm fucked.
You're old now. Today I ran into so I started going back to my affiliate back here in my hometown, and somebody that I used to coach when they would go to kids classes at my affiliate like 10 plus years ago is now coaching classes at my affiliate.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was tripping. I was like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm coaching today. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what do you even do now? She's like, oh, I'm in PT school now and I coach. Like, holy fuck, dude. I remember she never said a word in kids class. She was like the quietest person, and her brother was like, he was the most talkative.
Dude, in the next 5 years, she's gonna be pregnant. You're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, for sure. She'll be married by the time she's done with PT school, probably.
I wonder if I should send them a DM telling me to block me on Globe Rad Running.
Just block you on all accounts.
The other day, the other day, I don't know how I came across it. I was looking at comments somewhere. It was either on YouTube or Instagram. I can't remember. And this chick says, I blocked him years ago about me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I haven't even had my account for years, I don't think. So I go and look, and she hadn't blocked me. And then like 2 months later, I see someone else said I blocked them. And I go to this person's account. And I'm like, oh, they did block me. And I'm thinking, I don't even know this person. I've never seen this person. I've never like, and then I was like tripping on the fact I was like, oh, you could just fucking like, if you just don't want someone in your sphere, you just block them.
Yeah, which
I thought I was so confused. I thought you blocked people because you didn't want them to see your shit. Like I'm assuming Globe Radical blocked me because they don't want me seeing their shit, trolling them. Right?
Yeah.
But you could just block people so you don't have to see their shit.
Can't you just like avoid people's shit?
I don't know. It was fascinating to me though that someone blocked me that I didn't know. I don't care about comments. David, do you really need? I can't tell if you're stupid or if you really want me to explain this to you. Or both. Sorry, I didn't mean to rule out. You could be stupid and need it explained to you. If your algorithm is going to bring you a person you don't like, you got to block. I'm trying to think I think the only people I've blocked are people like I just don't want seeing my shit. Okay, go ahead, Caleb.
I feel bad for you. I don't think about you at all.
Amazing. I remember when I saw that. I was watching that. You know what I mean? Like I think I lived in Berkeley at the time, and I was like, because that guy goes off on him.
Yeah, the whole set. Like I got to the end of the elevator scene, but like he's like, I can't believe you did that. I have so many good ideas. I'm the best fucking guy on the planet. Blah 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 blah. And he goes, I feel sorry for you. I don't think about you at all. And then leaves the elevator. It's a good show.
Blocking is gay.
Facts.
I love gay. Great series for the binge bros.
Oh yeah.
I think we can only do. I really only want to do current shit.
Have you noticed
David only gets restraining orders.
the law version of being blocked. Real life version. Standy's profile pictures just progressively get hotter.
Yeah. Put a dollop on that. A dollop of sour cream on that. I thought about editing that. That almost didn't come out. That almost didn't come out.
Maybe not.
Oh man, really? Drag out the word dollop again? All right, fuck it.
Dollop.
Okay, so some dude drove his car in New Orleans and ran over some people. Then someone detonated a Tesla in Vegas in front of the Trump casino. Great footage.
Yeah.
Great footage. Great footage.
Some of the best footage.
And then someone got someone shot up a club in New York City.
Oh, I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, last night. I think 10 people dead. Meanwhile, I'm going to go to Home Depot today and get another 20 bags of chicken manure. Does anyone do what I do? I just open the bag of chicken manure and dump it around the base of the tree. That's what I do. And then my logic in my brain is over the next 3 years, as it rains and waters on that, it's like a tea and it soaks down to the roots. That's all I do.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to do it.
Yeah. And once a year, once a year, I try to get 50 bags of chicken manure, and I try to do it around raining time so it doesn't piss my wife off, because it just stinks around our house when I do that. Yeah. And if it rains once on them, the smell goes away. So I just, and yesterday that's where Pat and I crossed paths in gardening. And Pat, yesterday when I went to Home Depot, they didn't have chicken manure, so I got steer manure instead. But I always feel like steer manure is like for pussies. I feel like that's something that, you know what I mean?
Really?
It's just, I think chicken manure is like, oh, that shit'll burn a fucking hole. It's like you use too much, you burn a hole in something. Like
okay.
It's more of a potent fertilizer.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that's so funny. Don't blow out your back. My back was so fucking sore this morning.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Great.
Turns out the driver of the exploding car was an Army vet and a one-time Green Beret.
Yeah, and so was the guy who drove through Bourbon Street. He was an Army vet too. He was in, I guess he served for a couple of years and then got out and then was barred from reenlistment for a little while and then eventually joined the reserves. But hadn't really done anything But the Green Beret was.
Was he barred for reenlistment doing bad shit?
Yeah, you can. There's like a number of reasons as to why you'd get barred for reenlistment, but
Are they
didn't
Muslims? Are
say.
these guys Muslims?
So the Louisiana guy, he was converting to Islam, and so I mean, he even had the ISIS flag on the back of his truck. He was like when he was driving, it was on the tailgate
Wow.
flying, and then the
Allah
other,
Akbar.
yeah, and I guess he had a few other people in his crew. He was supposed to detonate some IEDs from his from the cab of the truck, but he decided to get out and start shooting at the cops instead. So the 2 or 3 IEDs that he had set up, or that other people had set up for him, didn't go off.
Oh, that's dumb. Did he? So he fucked the plan up?
He totally fucked the plan up, dude. If I have IEDs and I'm setting them off,
Yeah.
I'm not getting out of the truck until I set them off.
Well,
And
where
then I
are
gotta-
where are they? Where were they? Just like
They were just in other places on Bourbon
Oh
Street.
my god! What a fucking jackass!
Yeah, dude. Come on.
Jackass.
You have a plan.
I'm gonna
They-
guess you pushed the button and they just didn't go off.
That's also very possible.
Yeah. Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
I have a pair of New Balance. Nice. That's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God, Bob! Listen, dude. Listen. I love you. You're welcome to stay in the show and listen for as long as you want and talk shit. You cannot say you like the same music as me and fucking wear New Balance, dude, and have that profile pic. New Balance. The fuck is wrong with you? New Balance is like 1 degree better than Rad Global. Rad Global.
Okay.
I'm a rad guy.
Hey, Patrick, you should probably go read the news again because you're wrong. He was not the only person.
Listen, JR likes fucking Rad Global. All you have to do is put a fucking wig on JR and he's fucking a 7. He's fuckable. Well, you put Demi Moore's hair on JR and a set of bolt-ons and I'd fuck him 8 ways from Sunday. My fucking one friend that likes Rad Global. Caleb's the only thing that looks masculine that's ever worn a pair of Rad Global.
Stop it.
Jesus Christ almighty.
Oh my God.
JR. Jesus Christ. JR played basketball. He's probably got those retarded feet where like the big toe and the small toe sit on top of the other 3 toes in the middle.
I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised.
JR's one of those people like he never wanted to take his feet off.
Yeah.
No.
He's a socks guy for sure. Socks
like,
and doors guy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm perfect. If you see my feet, it's gonna ruin everything.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry.
He is believed to have joined the Green Berets as a communication specialist in January of 2006.
That's the guy, the Tesla guy.
Oh, okay. In front of the Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a retard. Well, I don't know what his plan was, but his shit was super ineffective.
Did you see? Even Elon was like, "Yeah, I don't know why he thought the explosives were going to work because, a Tesla Cybertruck is like indestructible, and all he used was propane tanks, some gas cans, and some fireworks, and he just lit them off in the trunk. And basically, what happened was because that truck is so sound, it just like shot all of the explosives vertically, and nothing, like it didn't even shatter the glass on the doors of Trump Tower.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just silly.
Hey,
These two are retarded.
And that guy Muslim?
I haven't heard anything about that yet. I just know that he was a Green Beret for a little bit. And his wife, I guess his wife came out and said, "Yeah, I hadn't heard from him in a couple days, so I didn't think anything of it." What?
Like if you're Muslim, you're a terrorist, right? I mean,
for sure, dude.
Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. If you're Muslim, it doesn't mean you're a terrorist. But if you're a terrorist, you're Muslim.
Yes. Okay. There you go.
So, like, if it was just a white guy who blew himself up, he's just fucking retarded. Something's wrong.
Yeah. He's probably some liberal mill guy that everybody hates. And it's like, I can't believe Trump won.
Yes. But if you're blow something up and you're Muslim, like, It's Allah Akbar.
Allah Akbar. That's right.
Listen, if you're in a fucking crowded mall somewhere or something and you hear someone yell that, run.
Hit the fucking deck, dude.
That's like the last thing. Does it mean God is great?
No. I don't know. Maybe it is.
Oh,
Let's see. It means, yeah, God is the greatest. God is greater. There you go.
I think Pup. I think yesterday I saw not Tom Massey. I saw Kennedy being interviewed.
Yeah.
Senator Kennedy, and he basically said he couldn't tell. He knows details and he just can't release them yet. But he all but said it was a crew of dudes.
For sure. I think I've seen that there were two men and
that.
Hmm?
They originally said it was a lone man, and then they basically said, "Hey, it's not a lone man." Right?
Yeah, I've seen people that have footage that say that there's two men and a woman that were the ones placing the IEDs around Bourbon Street. If you're not following like Atlas News or Northern Provisions or Real News No Bullshit, like any of that, then you're fucking dumb. You can't take anything from Fox News or CNN or anything, any of the local channels. You have, like, those are the only ones that are reporting anything of value.
My entire life is Fox News. But ask me what Melissa Campagno was wearing yesterday.
Oh yeah, what was she wearing?
I don't even know her name. I just know she's a Mexican chick. It looks like she does CrossFit. Her arms are crazy. She has
Hell
yeah, she has the nicest body. She's tiny though. She's a midge.
Who is she? Melissa Campagno?
Is that her name? Something Campagno. She's the fucking token hot Mexican. Let me see. She sits in the middle chair. She's a total
CNN?
Yeah, no, Fox. She's a total power bitch. God, she must be a handful at home. Emily Campagno. Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, she's a stud.
I hate petite, strong women.
Why?
The
Those are my
spinners,
favorite.
because they fuck good and they have big mouths and they own the world. They're fucking a handful.
Damn, she's jacked.
Yeah,
She's
cool.
got like, she just has pecs. She doesn't even have.
She's a
boobs
9'4". Yeah, I love it when she. I mean, I've never seen her face because she wears so much fucking makeup, but I love it when she's like, "I'm Emily Campagno." I'm like, the fuck yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
I want to see your husband. I hope he fucking manhandles her.
Dude, stop.
She needs to be oppressed when she's not at work. What is this, dude? What is this? Let me show you this picture. What the fuck is this?
Oh, it's it's the plane in the background.
Is that part of the plane, or is that plane parked under something?
That's part of the plane. I think it's called an E4 or something.
Damn, dude, that thing is crazy.
That's like just a massive satellite.
You fly that for 2 years and you die of cancer.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Just driving wow. Steer manure got no balls. Damn, that's what I was kind of afraid of. You think I shouldn't have even bought the poop? The steer, like, I went to the lady, in the garden center. I'm like, yo, I don't see any chicken shit. She's like, well, it says we have 37 bags. Then she's like, check the Watsonville store. It says we have 137 bags. Did you guys check the Watsonville store? I'm here with my 3 kids. I ain't driving to Watsonville. That's where Dave lives, in the hood. Watsonville.
Why don't you just check your stock numbers? Do an inventory every once in a while.
Emily's got some solid workout content. Where do you see it? I'm on a real Emily Campagno. She only has like 6 posts. I don't see. Oh no, she doesn't. Oh. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. God. Oh, some of these pictures look like they could be the cover of porn boxes.
Oh God. Swear to
Oh, I
God,
hope
dog.
this is her husband. Her husband looks like he might be a fighter.
Hey, fucking chill.
Oh no. Is she married? Does she have kids?
Yeah, she's got a ring. Got a big old rock on her finger.
Does she own a General Lee?
What's a General Lee? Oh, the car?
Yeah, no. Oh, she has the Starsky Hutchmobile, but in orange. Holy shit. Hopefully they show this from the side, this car from the side. Look at this. Oh, I'll just restart it. Look at this thing. God,
Oh, that's sick.
my wife would look insane in that.
Wow.
All right. I should have asked Julian if he owns any cars, like cool cars, like if he's bought like a, you know what I mean, like an old truck. Or
Yeah.
anything. What's a porn box?
The same thing.
Porn box, you know, like the box like that used to sit on the shelf at the fucking video store where you go through the wooden beads and there's just boxes lined up, and that's the porn box.
Got it.
Porn box is a cereal box with a hole cut in the side. Okay, so we talked about what did we talk about? We talked about Rad Global, porn boxes. Go ahead and let people record at your events. It's okay. Julian feels like a old Datsun pickup guy with a tiny steering wheel. Oh, I could see that. Lowered. A Vato mobile. Vato. Oh. Can we hear what she's saying?
Yeah.
The original 72 Mach 1 with its original 351 Cleveland engine for over 13 years. And I had this, dream vision of what I wanted her to become. And the combat veteran owned and operated Innovation Performance Technologies in Aberdeen, North Carolina, made my dream come true. And it took them, it was about a year for them to essentially.
Holy shit, she's yoked.
She's jacked, dude.
Make your fucking dreams come true, Miss CrossFit Companion.
That's an amazing
build. What was this original Mach 1 that left me on the side of the highway stranded, for all of the 13 years, into the absolute dream machine that she is today. So I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about it and show you the engine. So again, went from a 351
your body's the dream machine.
Cleveland to a 5.0 Gen Coyote Illuminator, which is obvious.
What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? That is not what I expected to see in there. Oh my God. Hey, do they have a link to the place that made that? I want to see the can you scroll up on that post a little bit?
Yeah. No, maybe she tagged him. Just a sec. Let me see. Oh, here you go. Innovation Performance Tech.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's go there. Enough of this ogling her body.
Oh wow, they did those like airdrops for what it was the flood in South Carolina and North Carolina.
Yeah,
that
people.
That's awesome.
Hey, how many followers does this account have? Oh,
734.
Crazy. Click on her car, scroll down. I want to see if they got her in it. There.
No, just tagged her.
Damn.
Dang. Who are these people?
I don't know, but that engine in there was crazy, dude.
That's incredible. Wow, they built some crazy shit.
Yeah, that's nice. That's all nice shit. The forehead is a snipe. Her forehead's a sniper's dream. She's not hot. Right. Okay.
Whatever you say, David.
Thanks. I care what you think. I care about your comments only. Thank you for participating. Or the algo.
Thank you for your service, David.
Oh, that dude McCoy. He's coming on tomorrow, right? The guy with Taylor.
I don't
The
know.
guy who's helping Taylor be a better coach. Or is that today? Jesus Christ, I don't even know what the fuck's going on my own station. There's so much going on this station. Videos, live. Glassman, live, call in. Phil Taylor, $2,500. I don't know. Oh, Gracie Walton. Oh, who made you? Did you make that Gracie Walton thumbnail?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Good job.
Thanks. I made that one for Julian too today.
Yeah, those are good. All right. I gotta pee. I gotta prepare for Gracie. Wait, let me see. Let me see. Hold on really quick. Gracie Walton podcast. Let me see what shows she's done. 5 months ago, she was on with Dave. 7 months ago, she was on with Frog Grips. 3 months ago, she was on with CrossFitter mentally. How does the world's #2 CrossFitter mentally prepare? Daniel Brandon, Gracie Walton, SoCal with Rad. Oh, Gracie's a Rad athlete. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Rad. That's it. Okay, so she hasn't. Oh wait, what is this? The Walton, 10 months ago on Coffee Pods and Wads. So I guess I'll watch this. Oh, Grace Walton. She has her own YouTube channel. Grace Walton. She hasn't posted on there in a year. She doesn't even look real.
No, she doesn't.
She's like perfect looking. I wonder if that's hard being perfect.
An incredible athlete.
What's it like being perfect?
I'm gonna open with that. So, I don't mean to be a total pervert, but what's it like being perfect? Here, this is the. I'm gonna watch this.
What the hell?
Jesus, that guy's like from the 70s.
A muscular build can be a sensitive thing. How's that been like being?
Oh God.
What is that like being more jacked than me?
Able to like embrace having like a really strong gym physique?
I feel like the only people that care like about what you look like is like people on social media. Like in reality, everyone at my gym, like all my family, all the people that are close to me, like
God, I love her already. All right, good. That's the couch you need.
Yeah, that's a good couch.
Shut it. My couch is money.
Maybe we should have spent all that money we used on James Sprague's couch and got you a new couch.
I'm just dragging now because I just don't want to go because like I don't want to have to pee and like I don't want to get up from the chair and I guess I'll go inside. My kids will love me. That's good. Oh, I'm single too. Well, thank you, Jesus. All right, guys. I'll see you tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Gracie Walton. Then tomorrow morning, do we have a guest tomorrow morning? God, I hope not. I don't want to have to prepare for 2 guests in a row.
No, just another live call-in, I think.
Oh, then Taylor will be live at 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then a live call-in show. then the Binge Bros show. Might also do a CrossFit Games update show, and then Saturday's Kill Taylor for $2,500.
Sick.
All right, Bob. Good to see you, buddy. Heidi's in love with Jesus. Stanley needs a dollop somewhere on the front side. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.